what it has is it actually has an automated ventilation system. And what it does is it pipes in the air from the bottom, and it exhausts it returns to the top. And then what they have is they have a humidifier module that actually feeds humidity into the airstream. So what you would see is you would see ductwork along the floor, and then you would see at the top the returns, and that way it gives them a way to dial in the amount of ventilation and the amount of humidity be in that ventilation. But it's still not, it's not forcing the sweat or the curing of the tobacco. It's really just better regulating the curing of the tobacco.
It's providing it evenly, so the heat, so everything's curing at the same time.
So what you'll end up getting,
different.
Right, you'll get the same color of golden shades occurring at the same time. Now you're never going to see it in a filler barn like this. It's almost exclusively used just for wrapper tobaccos because of the monies involved. And very few people have kelp freezers. I think the only one that I know of in Nicaragua is Nestor Plasencia.
Yeah, Nestor.
Right. And the problem that you have with kelp freezers is not just the cost of the building, because now you're building a real structure that has to be a ceiling structure, so it's more expensive to build. The second thing that you have to do is you have to have all the equipment. And the third thing you have to have is power. In most of these places where these barns are, there is no power. So then you need to have the generator system and the diesel huffed in order to run the kelp freezer. It's incredibly expensive to do the first build out, it's expensive to run, but ultimately the yield of wrapper that you get as a result of the very even curing process makes up the money in short term. So it's very popular if you can afford to do it.
So if you keep the dog on a copper freezer, how many days is the dog gonna stay?
It's about the same. You might get a little bit shorter, like you were saying, the cycle runs from 30 to about 55 days. Mm-hmm. You're going to stay on the lower end. You're going to be in that 35, 40 day range almost always. Okay. Okay, because you're not getting those upsets. Mm-hmm. But it really is only just creating the perfect ambient climate. If you could decide how the weather was going to be, you wouldn't need a kelp freezer. Right. It just takes the weather increment out of the equation.
Mm-hmm. How long has this been hanging, Steve?